Hi, my name is Jessica, and I review board games from a Christian perspective. Today we're going to talk about a game called Big Pirate. This is a game for children ages, it recommends 5 through 9, and I can't remember how many players it goes up to, but I'm going to say it's 4. Yeah, it looks like it would be 4. So Big Pirate is the game that I researched back a year or so ago when I was trying to find games that were about pirates because my sons have such a strong interest in pirates, especially the younger one, but without promoting the bad things about pirates. So I didn't want games that were going to be just saturated in skulls and crossbones or violence. Pirates, yes, are thieves. But I wanted to minimize that aspect of all the pirate stuff and just try to make it as cutesy as possible and focus on more of the adventurous part of it. Like they had cool looking ships and they may have really neat hideouts on islands and they had treasure and stuff like that. So I did find this game. Now I'm not sure what year it was printed. It's not new. I believe I got this on a used website, maybe from eBay. I can't remember. It may still be sold new. I think there was one website that sold it new, but I got a better price on eBay, I want to say. So I did notice on the direction booklet here that this was made in Paris, France. So that's kind of cool. It's a little bit fancy. The box is beautiful. I mean, off the subject here, but yeah, like the inside of the box is just a really beautiful color, and this is the artwork on the outside. I'm going to show you the game board. It folds out here, and it is in fact an island. There's a little boat in the corner, and then this is the pirate's cave. Yeah, you can see that. All right, so there's a little candlestick in there, and there is a box of open treasure. The object of this game, Big Pirate, is that when the game begins, Big Pirate will be in his cave, and there will be 3 apprentices that arrive on their boat, and you're going to use the roll of die to move your apprentices. They're trying to go to the cave, retrieve the treasure, and get it all the way back to their boat without being caught by Big Pirate. So we take turns. Each player takes a turn, and somebody each time will have to be the player of Big Pirate himself and roll for him, and he's on the chase. If he catches any of the apprentices, I think the game is over, or you can just play until there's only 1 apprentice left, and however you want to do that. The little character pieces look like this. These are the apprentices. Since I just noticed that this game was made in France, it now makes a little more sense to me why they look the way they do. Kind of like a rubber, squeezy little guys. And then when they come and pick up the treasure, it's 1 for each of them. Again, little squeezy treasure boxes, hollow on the inside. They don't open up or anything. And they're gonna be moved by rolling this die here. That does, I believe, go up to, no, it doesn't go up to 6. So this is not a standard die. It looks like it just goes up to 4. Then we have here the die for Big Pirate. He's got his own die. His die goes up to 5, and it has 4 on here twice. So this is not a standard die either. This is also squeezy plastic, and it's large. It is a bit cumbersome. It doesn't roll the way die normally does. Kids are okay with it. They don't seem to mind. It kind of annoys me a little bit. And of course, I don't find it necessary that there has to be little skulls all over it. But, you know, I did sign up for a pirate game, so, you know. All right. Now, we also have on the island, I'm going to get to Big Pirate himself in just a second. There are these little palm trees, and these are made nice. These are wooden bases. And there are several palm trees that get set up around the board. There's a spot that marks them. Part of the strategy of the game is that if Big Pirate gets too close to the apprentices, they can hide behind a palm tree, and then he can't see them. So he would pass by while they would be hiding. And to do that at the beginning of the game, everybody is dealt a certain number of palm tree cards and parrot cards. Now, this isn't a how-to game, so I'm not going to get into all the exact details of that. You'll find that in the instruction booklet. It's a wee bit confusing. This is one game where we've played it a few times, and I still have to read the directions and just make sure I understand exactly how those cards are supposed to work. I mean, it is simple. This is a game for small children. It's simple. It's just not as like straightforward and simple as some of the other kids' games, which you don't really have to review directions for any reason because it's so obvious. So, but I mean, that makes a little point of interest. All right, so getting into Big Pirate himself. This is Big Pirate. He's also this squeezy thing. Now, if I can show you again the board. This board is going to have those little standing palm trees on all of the green dots. When you're moving Big Pirate around the board, it is cumbersome. He is almost too big for the board, and it's pretty easy to knock down trees with this guy, which is not the point of the game. Trees are not supposed to get knocked down. And I get he's Big Pirate or whatever, but his size is so unnaturally, unrealistically larger than these guys. I didn't think that was necessary. So that's kind of a strike against it for me. I see no reason why he's got to be so much larger. It doesn't add to the gameplay. It actually takes away from it. Otherwise, I would say that these are quality pieces and it's a nice looking game. I like the emphasis on the palm trees and the parrot. It's not a violent game. What we did do there's actually a different one I have with the long beard. I like him better. This is just a pirate that we had around the house, and we substituted him for Big Pirate when we played, at least when I played, because it didn't drive me nuts. I mean, this guy drove me nuts. The kids don't seem to mind, but I do. So anyway, when I played, we played with this guy. He's still bigger, but the proportion is a little bit better, and he's very easy to grab, and proportionally he fits on the table, on the board much better. I want to give credit to the maker of this toy, but I can't think of the name, and I think this guy is pretty old anyway. He was also somebody I got on eBay, and this might have been made in the 90s or the 2000s, early 2000s. I don't remember. So, let's see. What else did I want to say about this game? It is very, very easy for the apprentices to win, and it's difficult for Big Pirate, whoever you choose for your Big Pirate, to catch up with them. So you may want to house rule it a little bit, and I can't even tell you how to do that. It's been a little while since I've played. You'd have to play for yourself and see what works for you and your kids. This game says it's ages 5 to 9, and I didn't give it to my kids until the youngest one was either 6 or close to 6, I think. Okay, whatever it was though, it was one of those games which I wish I had given to them sooner. I was actually going to give it for a birthday, but they got so many gifts that it was just like too much and not necessary, so I was saving it for a rainy day. By the time I got it out, it was probably like 9 months later, and I just had wished I had gotten it out sooner, because you really should start this game at age 5 or 4.5 so that you can get the most replayability out of it. I don't necessarily see a 9-year-old really enjoying this game. I think it would run out before then, in my opinion. Let's see, but I just wanted to talk about, just want to mention, so right here, these are some colored dye that I got on Amazon, and I have some others that are dispersed in games. These are really inexpensive, and I used to kind of get in a panic about losing dye in games. I want everything that goes with a game to be returned to the original game box. I want us to be respectful with everything and not lose the pieces. And I think that's fine. That's I still think that's a good character trait to teach. But if you do lose a die, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I guess that's obvious, but I needed a friend to tell me that like for $1 or so, you can just go and buy more white dye. Or for $5 or so, you can buy a package of colored dye. And these are really fun and pretty. So I'd say if you ever get a die where it's not marked just right, or it feels lightweight, the paint looks chintzy, you're like, man, I just want a really nice die that feels good like in my other games, just buy some extra dye, and then you can add some color to it and it will never be a problem. Another thing that I got on Amazon, speaking of dye, is a package. This is just one, but I got a package of multicolored die throwing trays. So these have snaps, they open up and they can lie flat, and then you can put them together. And I gave each one of my kids one of their own color. I have a couple for travel. I have one for the living room, one for upstairs in the bedroom. Gave a couple of them to my teenagers, and I even gave them matching die to go with whatever color tray they got. And I even got them little matching velvet pouches to match the color. So that was just kind of a little add-on extra thing I just wanted to mention for fun that you can do for pretty cheap if you want to do that. So wrapping it up, Big Pirate. The game component quality is really nice. I don't think that it's got bad stuff in it that I don't like. It's cute and it's nice. From a Christian perspective, I'm going to give it a 4 because it is kind of, okay, first of all, it's somewhat of a cooperative game, and the pirate is just kind of chasing them around, trying to get his treasure back and chase the apprentices off the island, so it's not violent. It is about pirates, and it does have skulls, and so for that reason, I have to give it a 4. I can't give it a 5, so, you know, but I chose to get a game that had to do with pirates. But it's pretty innocent. For fun, I'm not sure. I seem to give everything a 4, it seems like. Because I guess if it was a horrible game, it wouldn't even be in my house. If it was boring, and I wouldn't bother reviewing it because it wouldn't be here. I'm hesitant to give almost any game a 5. But I almost want to give this one a 3.5. I guess I had higher expectations, and it may be because I waited a little too long to give it to my kids. But I was a little disappointed at the game when I got it. I didn't think it was as fun as I thought it would be. And I think part of the reason for that is a little lack of suspense. It sounds like it would be suspenseful to dart in different directions on this island and try to evade Big Pirate and hide behind palm trees. But it's just so easy to evade Big Pirate. Big Pirate in the rule book has a rule where he cannot change directions, but the apprentices can. So once he starts going a direction, if he's headed a certain way, he can't turn, but they can turn, and then they can outwit him and outrun him very easily. So this is a game you're going to want to house rule. But if you have little boys that are into pirates and you're looking for a clean pirate game, I would definitely recommend this. So that's what I can tell you about it. You decide if it's right for you and your family. God bless you. Goodbye.